So hi everyone, welcome to our Mentoring Mondays. We're gonna have Bella introduce our speaker today.
Yes, thank you, Katie. We have Patrick Tucker from the Registrar. So Patrick Tucker has served at the Registrar at CCSU since 2012. He previously served at the Registrar at Capital Community College in Hartford and taught part-time at Naugatuck Valley Community College in Waterbury for several years. Here at CCSU, his areas of responsibility include overseeing student registration, academic records, degree audit/graduation, catalog/curriculum, and academic scheduling. He earned both his bachelor's and master's degree at the University of Hartford in communication. He also started working in higher education while at the University of Hartford as an graduate admissions tour guide, and then as a graduate assistant. Thank you, Patrick, for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. As I said earlier, thanks for having me back. I think this is the fourth time now.
Third or fourth,
I think
yeah.
the fourth.
I don't know, everybody, time management hasn't been a hit, but you are.
You're too kind. I know when we were here last semester, we gave a little bit of a preview of a new tool we were working on, and we got some good feedback from you and some other student groups in the fall semester. So I'm really happy to kind of dig in a little more to the new schedule building and planning tool. Some of you may have already been playing with it a little bit, if you already saw your advisor.
Leilani, I think.
Okay, cool. But yeah, we have, you should have received some advising and registration information for this coming fall semester. And it did highlight the new registration and course scheduling planning tool. So this is something you want to learn a little more about. Go right onto our website. There's some links rather, right on the header here for about the new system. There's some videos we put together. There's a little, if you're a person like me that likes a 2-page PDFer, there's a little 2-page PDF guide there. So there's lots of different resources that we've made available. But that's really what I want to talk to you about today, and kind of also get your feedback again, if you've been playing with it, if you've been rebuilding schedules, if you've been preparing for registration, how is it going, that kind of thing. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. So let's go into Web Central. And in this example.
Sorry, do you guys share screen?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because it might still be recording, but I'm not positive. You might have to hit share screen for.
Yeah, I think that's
Just
a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Good reminder.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's see, can we get this thing going? Okay. So for the purposes of this today, I'll pretend that I'm a student, and maybe I'll pretend that I was just met with my advisor, right? My advisor and I have developed a list of courses that I want to register for the fall semester. And kind of who remembers what that was like before? Kind of having to put a schedule together manually, trying to figure out days and times and to make sure you're not in the same place at the same time and working around your job or other commitments. So, you know, the feedback we got from students previously is that was a complicated process, right? Didn't make it easy. So that's really one of the things that we hope this new tool helps makes it easier for you. So let's pretend, again, that I'm a student. I just am my advisor. I'll go into my student tab. You'll see a link to the new system here. The old registration method is still available, right? So if you are a creature of habit and like to do things the way that we've been doing them for the past couple of years, that's okay. You can still doing that. You can try the new one if you don't like it. You can move to the old one. You can try the old one, move back and forth. They both talk to the same place, the same information. So we didn't make this a strict change. We gave students the option. But when you go in, I hope one of the first things that you'll notice is that it's a completely new interface. We've heard a lot of feedback before. The old self-service was a little funky. I think other people had said it looked like it was designed in 1999, probably because it was designed in 1999.
Too many clicks.
Too many clicks.
So many.
No, really. Even on the professor side, way too many.
That's all going to get a makeover. So the whole, this whole other part of pipeline will get a makeover sooner than later. But this is the part that I have direct control over here. Really, so it brings you to this splash page here where the first steps is prompting you to build a schedule. So let's just go in and let's say I want to build a schedule for the fall semester. And let's see, I was already sitting in here playing, so ignore what I'm doing. Let's just drop all this stuff. Let's start from scratch. Let's start from scratch. Okay, so let's say that I've met with my advisor. I'm gotten a list of courses that I want to enroll in for the fall semester. What do I do? So really, as a student, you navigate in here to the Build Schedule tab. And really, the first step that you would do is really build out that list of courses that you and your advisor have discussed. So let's pretend I met with my advisor, and let's see, gosh, I really have to take that writing course I haven't done yet. So that's Writing 105. You'll notice as you look up your courses, you can read the course descriptions. So we've tried to pull information here. We put information about prerequisites, those types of things here. So that's all kind of right in front of you. So I've heard a moment ago, we don't like lots of clicks to find things. So hopefully this is a way of kind of surfacing a lot of that important information right up front. But if this is the course we want, we add it to our course list. And you notice on the right-hand side, we're starting to build out that course list. So let's say I also have to take a biology class. My advisor told me I have to take, my program requires 121. Again, I can read the course description.
Nice.
As long as that's what I want, I can add it to my course list here. You can look up courses a couple different ways here. So obviously we're doing the lookup by subject and course. You can look it up by general education attribute. So let's say you met with your advisor and you need to take a study area 1 course. You can identify study area 1. It's going to filter down to just the subjects or just the subjects, any courses that fulfill that requirement and are being offered in this semester. So let's say Art 100 was that course. I can read the course description. There's no prerequisite. Okay, sounds like a good option. So let's say I can add that to my course list. Let's do another general ed. Let's say I could do a study area 2, let's say, social science course. Again, it's going to filter to just the subjects that are being offered or just the courses that are being offered. Let's see, econ sounds exciting. Here are the 2 econ classes that would fulfill that study area. Again, we're going to float the course description. There's no prerequisites, looking good. That's my course. So what you've done really is you build out this course list, again, that you developed in consultation with your advisor and looking at your degree evaluation, all those kind of other tools that you have. There's other ways you can do it if you want to look up a course by a specific instructor. So if you definitely want to make sure you enroll in a specific faculty member's course, you can look up things that way. It's going to filter to just the courses that the specific faculty member is teaching. So hopefully it makes it a little easier to navigate. But again, the prerequisite really here is that you've met with your advisor, you've already had that conversation about what courses you want to take in or enroll in, you've reviewed your degree evaluation, those types of things. Once you've done that, this is really where you start. Questions so far?
These courses, obviously the courses are available, but they don't tell the time or the date.
That was a great segue.
Yay.
Stay tuned. All right. So let's say we've just figured out that these are the 4 courses that I want to take. Let's go back to generate schedules. And this is really where the fun part happens. The other thing you'll notice, though, something new is this idea of something called breaks. Again, breaks is times that you're not able to take classes. So that could be things like athletic practice. That could be things like a work schedule that you can't change. That could be things like things on SGA. You have SGA meetings. Exactly. So let's say that I have a work study job on campus.
You don't want to take 8 a.m. classes?
You could do that. Let's say I work on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's say I come in at 8 a.m. and let's say I work until 12. So you could very quickly add times or days of the week that you have to work around or you'd like to work around for your course schedule. And maybe let's say I'm also an SGA senator and I think they meet on Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. I think. So let's say these are my commitments. I have an on-campus job. I'm on SGA. These are times that I want to work around when I build my schedule. So really we've got our list of courses on the left that you want to enroll in. You've got your breaks, or essentially the times that you're unavailable to take classes, on the right. And this is really where the fun happens in terms of trying to build specific sections. and generate schedule options. So simply clicking the generate schedule button here, and one thing that's going to happen is going to be kind of cool. So let's watch this. 105 has a prerequisite. And I
Has a
forgot to add- has a
co-requisite.
co-requisite. Excuse me, I can't read from across the other side of the room. I didn't pay attention to what my advisor told me, and I forgot that I also have to enroll in 105P. So right off the bat, it's not going to let me build a schedule where there's a co-requisite that I didn't add.
Cool.
So that's a nice little gotcha right there. The other thing that I'm going to look at is that Bio 121 is a lab science course, right? So that has a lecture and lab. So let's look at how that works. So we're going to refresh generate schedules, and really it's generated 147 different options that essentially will help you to enroll in the courses that you want to enroll in, while also working around your work schedule, your SGA schedule, things like that. So for each of these options, you can kind of scroll through and see how it's kind of laid things out for you. So you kind of have your whole week at a glance that takes into consideration all of the courses that you want to enroll in, and then the times that you're not available.
And it gives the professors' names and.
Exactly. So at this point, we're still looking at potential schedules. This is kind of, think about this as shopping. You're kind of trying on different things to see if you like them. Again,
147 options might be too many.
let's talk about how we can narrow that down. So this is a good starting point. But in this case, remember that Bio 121 was a science class that has both a lecture and a lab. You'll notice it picked a lecture and a lab for you. You didn't have to worry about trying to figure out which ones are linked or make sure you remember for both ones of those. So those types of things it takes care of for you right off the bat. So that's pretty cool. You're right, 147 is a lot of options. You could certainly click through all these and look at 147 different options, but that's not what I'd recommend. What I think you might want to do is start to get at a point of, you might have a certain faculty member that you really want to enroll in, or you have a specific section that you want to enroll in, you can narrow it down. So let's say I really want to get into this econ class. Let's say this is a faculty member that I've worked with before. I really want to make sure that of all of my options, I definitely want to get into this specific section that meets on Thursday from 1:40 to 2:55. What I can do is essentially lock that course. And you'll notice now my schedule options have reduced from 147 to 30. So really every option that you scroll through, you're going to lock in that econ course. So the meeting times of your other courses might change, but this econ is going to be a constant option. So again, I think what you can do is that you're probably going to have lots of options,
So if
but
there's
you
a
can start to
required
narrow it
course,
down.
like History 301, you could block History 301 and then build the other ones around it.
Exactly. And for some courses where there might be fewer options, right, some upper division major courses, there might only be 1 or 2 sections that you can enroll in. So right off the bat, it's going to only pull scenarios that allow you to enroll in those required courses that you want to get into. So even if there's only 1 or 2 sections. So I think that's a lot of it. You think about before, you were looking at the schedule, reading dates and times, maybe you had a little scratch pad, maybe you had a grid, you're trying to work it out. So this is pretty cool. This is all work that you can do right prior to registration, right? And does everybody know when the registration time is? When this week, next week?
Well, you're graduating, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I am graduating, but.
Do you know when your registration
Yeah, so
time
you
is?
don't have a registration time.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Wednesday? Okay. Do you know when your registration time is?
Yesterday, but I
Okay.
need to get an override for getting more credits.
Okay, wow.
I do not know.
Okay, well, we can answer that
Yes,
question.
because her advisor and her haven't met yet.
We can
But
at
we
least figure
will.
that out.
Don't worry.
You can Google it.
Yes, but she needs to talk to me.
Yeah.
But you're her advisor.
Yes.
Oh.
And her employer. That's how I know she hasn't spoken to her
No.
advisor yet.
No excuses.
But
I'm
her
an actual
advisor,
teacher for this semester.
but her advisor was actually out of the country for a while, so that kind of complicated things.
But what you can do is, this is really a planning tool, right? So you can start to build schedules well in advance of when your registration time opens up. So what you might do, let's say I scrolled through these options, and let's say this one right here is one that I really like. I'm going to favorite this and hang on to it, right? And let's say I've scrolled through and maybe this option right here I really like. So I can, right off the bat, I can favorite a couple of schedule choices, right? So you can kind of save them. Again, you're not officially registered yet, but this is a kind of a planning tool, right? So back on this home screen, you'll then notice your favorited schedules are kind of saved right there for you. So this could be something, right, that you could bring to your advisor, right, before your advising appointment, right? So if you're a student that looks at their degree evaluation that kind of understands, or you think you have an idea of what courses you need to enroll in next semester, you could actually use this as a tool before you meet with your advisor.
We
and say,
have
here's a sample.
We have in the history department, we have the old degree sheets on Teams for students to fill out.
Mhm.
So that we check that against the, against DegreeWorks, because DegreeWorks doesn't always populate things properly.
History is an interesting program, but that's,
Oh,
and I know
he
why.
said that
I
with
know why.
quotation marks.
Because you have
Why
lots
did it
of,
come out like that?
you have lots of options.
Yes.
You have lots of
Well,
options.
because, so we used to have lots of courses, and the curriculum committee asked us to make a series of 295s.
Yeah.
Right, or 195, 395, 495, 295, which are topics classes, and they might be about US, and they might be about, so we make students do a distribution of time and space. And if the department chair didn't tell you where things should go, I've never been department chair, so don't blame it on me, or assistant chair, then there's a little bit of a glitch. And some of us are good at figuring out, and some of us are not.
In some other programs too, I think for a lot of programs, like in the School of Engineering, Science, and Technology, those are very sequenced, right? So in their programs, they have really kind of core dependencies, of course, that you need to take in a certain sequence to help kind of queue you up for graduation in 4 years. So your advisor may have already shared some of that with you, so you may already have a good sense of kind of what a sequence, or if there are really kind of critical pathways or critical sequences in your major. So you might be able to actually go to your advisor and already say, hey, I've looked at my degree evaluation, I've looked at my advising map you've given me. You know, here's a sample schedule that I've put together based on the courses that I think are going to meet what I should be taking next semester. So you could actually use this tool either after you've met with your advisor and you can kind of confirm what you're going to take, or even before, if you're someone who likes to do your homework and kind of come to an advising appointment with a couple of options to discuss. So again, this is really a good planning tool. But it's very easy to then take this from a planning tool and then transfer it to actually your official course registration as soon as that time ticket opens up. And that's what we can look at right now. So let's say we favorited a couple of schedules, you've met with your advisor, they agree that this art course, bio, the econ, the writing course are kind of the right selection of courses for you. So let's say this is your first choice of your schedule. Just send it to your shopping cart, just like Amazon. You'll notice now it's sitting in the shopping cart right here. We can see right now that all of these all of these sections have open seats remaining. If your registration doesn't open up for another week or so, you can kind of keep watching this to make sure that there are still open seats available. If something closes, which sometimes that happens if you're a freshman or you don't register until kind of the last day, you can kind of quickly edit the cart and swap it out with a section that has another opening that kind of fits into your whole master schedule. And as soon as it's your time to register, it's really just as simple as clicking the register button. It's obviously not going to let me do that because I'm not really a student. But essentially, your entire schedule planning, building, saving your preferences, and then actually registering for your courses is going to happen all in this environment right here. I may have set myself up. Let's see what it does. It's probably going to give me all sorts of error messages, but let's see what it does.
It's gonna generate a bill.
I got to make sure I drop that. I know, because I'm a non-matriculated student, I think. So in this
So
case,
students who are matriculated, who register in the quote unquote early registration, do not generate an immediate bill. The bill goes out whenever the bill goes out. It does not go out immediately. This is a real fallacy on. Now, if you're a non-matriculated student, right, or something else, then it will. If you have a bill outstanding, you can't register until somehow financial aid helps you resolve it. But It's only if you registered late that you're gonna generate a bill immediately.
Yeah, absolutely,
Makes
that's a good
sense.
point. Yeah,
Okay.
there's delaying registration because of concerns about billing is not a concern. Good, a very
Is,
long runway.
is in fact a problem, because you lose access to your classes, and the bill comes exactly the same time as it does for anybody else. Now, unmatriculate, in other words, students who are not in a program, the situation may be different. But for full-time students who are in a major program, the bills go out, right? We had the bursar here, right? June 15th or July 15th?
I think they're not due till August.
Right,
1st or
they go out
something.
July 15th, so you register now, you get the bill in July. Yeah, but if you, the thing about registering now, okay, is the dean's office says cancel under-enrolled classes almost immediately after the first registration period is over. Oh, okay,
I mean, it's
and it's
also
a
really
real
important.
pain to try and re-add them.
But it's also really important that if you're, a junior or senior, or you're far along in your program, and there's an upper division course in your major, and there might be only 1 or 2 sections offered, and you're trying to work around a work schedule or other kinds of commitments, you really need to register as soon as possible, just for your own ability to get
Yes.
the best
We need to
schedule
register
possible.
quickly.
But in
Okay.
this example, let's say this did exactly what I wanted to do, which it's registered me for 2 classes, right? This then becomes how I'm managing my course schedule now, right? So this is my new schedule, really, this is my new view of my new course schedule. I can email it to myself. I can email it to my advisor as a follow-up from my advising appointment and say, hey, I'm all set. I registered for my courses. Here's a copy of my schedule. If I need to make adding and dropping, I can do it all in this interface here. So we've really eliminated the need to use kind of that older website that we were talking about earlier to handle any of your kind of schedule building registration. It can happen
Makes
all
me
in this
nuts.
all in this one application now.
The Windows 10, the Windows 8 or 7.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's
God.
been around since I was in college.
I don't know, it's the, you click on register for classes, it says what semester, you tell it, and then it says advanced search, and you're back at the same, you're back at the same window that you were when you started. It's like,
Yeah, so
I mean, it's not
what
the
we've
end of the
done here-
world.
What we've done here, though, is I think a lot of that course information is all filtered into hopefully an easier view for you.
right.
So in this example, right, so let's say our course list here, there's that econ course that we locked down. So we told that we wanted that specific section, I could unlock it. Well, but for each of these, you can click into the gears here and you can actually see the specific sections. So if there are, if you are not a morning person, right, and you want to, let's say 9:25 is just too early for you, right, you could remove those courses from your possible schedule option as well too. So you have some opportunity beyond simply listing things like your work schedule or other meeting sections. You can actually dig in at the section level here and look. This is not a good example because there's only a couple sections offered, but yeah, econ's a good example here. You can also do the same thing with an advanced filter if you want to look at the faculty members that are teaching this specific course. You can limit it right here. So you have a lot more tools to kind of help you refine and build your schedule, again, while working around those other commitments that you told us about.
So
it's a pretty cool tool.
Patrick, does it say anywhere here easily when you're going to register?
Not here. So this is, I know we talked about this before, this is unfortunately still a separate thing, right? So on the registrar's webpage, so your fall 2023 registration information,
Click here for detail right there.
registration start schedule right here. So you'll have to look up your course level and your credit hours that are earned.
And you still have to go to your transcript to find out how many credits you have completed, right?
We're looking at your earned hours. So this is a point of confusion for a lot of students. If earned hours means courses that you've completed, does not count courses that are in progress this semester. So your transcript is the best source of data for But yeah, as soon as your registration time ticket opens up, so in this case, Wednesday, April 5th at 8:30 a.m., you can have that schedule in your shopping cart, and you can just click the register button right there, and it's going to run it through the standard registration process. So again, we hope it's a pretty cool tool. If you have played with it already or not, and maybe a little.
I have not.
If you have not, this might be something that, again, is worth clicking around.
So
with
at
a
least
little
one
bit
of the
beforehand.
students in the center has done it, but she was doing it Thursday or Friday afternoon, I think.
There's a couple of, the first time you're in here, it can be a little confusing, right? It's a significantly different interface than we had before. So again, we have put some of those instructions right here. There's a link to that video right here. So it's just a 2 or 3 minute video that just gives you an overview of the process that we kind of walk through here. So the first time you log in, I think the feedback we've gotten from students is, wow, this is different. But I think once you kind of take a minute or two and kind of understand the lay of the land and how it works, or quickly watch the little video, or you can download the instruction guide right there, we've gotten pretty good feedback from students that they get the hang of it pretty quickly. We're also doing schedule building, so if you've seen your advisor and you have your course list and you want to stop down to the registrar's office, you can come in anytime. We'll help you build your schedule. So if this is something that you're nervous about doing yourself for the first time, students have been dropping in with their course list after they've met with their advisor. We've kind of helped walk them through these steps and kind of build different schedule options so they can kind of identify their perfect schedule or their preferred schedule. So this is a transition. And again, in Central Pipeline, you have 2 options. So we still have the old option. So if you prefer that, that's fine too. But if you want to kind of play with this, we encourage you to do so. And we hope that we've provided the resources and tools to kind of show you how it works.
I really like this because it's so visual.
Okay.
It's the visual representation of what your schedule is going to look like. So instead of trying to imagine it in your head, you're actually seeing it. So it makes things a lot easier for people who are more visual.
I'm the same way. I like to see. I like to see options. So.
And it's
for
safe.
freshmen, do they get advisors?
So for freshmen, we're going to be working with their advisors during orientation to build their schedules. They'll be using this tool, but they'll be working much more closely with an advisor, basically doing the same sort of thing.
I have a question.
Mhm.
What would you say is the best option to build your schedule, the break sections of your schedule
Mhm.
around your courses, or should you build your courses around the schedule that you want?
So I think if you have, in terms of kind of adding breaks before or after, I think if you have a hard commitment, like if you have a work schedule that's pretty fixed, I would put that on ahead of time.
Right.
I think where it gets, can be a little iffy, right, is, I don't want to take 8 a.m. classes, so I'm going to build a break and block out the 8 a.m. hour. Well, there might be a required course that you need there. So I would really only add breaks for real conflicts that you have, right, that you really can't work around. If you have, once you have some schedule options and you can kind of go in and look at the different sections here and say, oh, there's a lot of these econ sections offered. I want to stay away from these sections here on these days of the week. You can kind of narrow it down that way. But I would really use the break sparingly, where you have true commitments. I know like our student athletes are using this, like they have very defined practice times that they have to work around. But that's where I would start. You can always go in. So if I'm in a department where there's a required course that's offered either on Tuesday, Thursday between 8 and 12, and there's only one section of that course offered, and it happens to be during my work schedule, that's going to tell you there's an infeasible situation, right? I can't build a schedule for you because there's only one section of History 308, let's say, that's offered Tuesdays and Thursdays during this time. But at least that gives you kind of advanced warning that, okay, let me go talk to my boss here and see if I can talk about a schedule change for my upcoming semester. So use breaks sparingly, but use them when you have real conflicts that you have to work around.
And as a registrar, as a person who works in the registrar office, what is the biggest mistake that most students make when building their schedule?
Good question. I think what you should always do, one thing that's really important is to do the follow-up. So after you've registered, I'm dropping myself out here so I don't get a bill in the mail in August. I think one thing that's really important to do is after you've registered for your courses, to log back into your degree evaluation, because your degree evaluation is then going to pull in those courses that you've registered for the future semester, right? So if there is a question or something is not fulfilling a requirement that you thought it would, let's say there was a history special topics course that we need to make an adjustment for, you'd rather ask that question now, right, than wait until the last semester and you're stressed about graduation. So I think bringing it full circle, you're having that conversation with your advisor, you're planning, you're reviewing your degree evaluation, you're building your schedule, you're registering, and then you're going back to your degree evaluation.
Okay.
I think that's really good advice. Good question.
I spend a lot of time going, please make this count there.
Other programs, there's not as many special topics, things like that. So, but history is one of those where we know.
Right, well, we had a lot of specific course numbers, and the curriculum committee asked us to take off the course lists, courses that we didn't offer very much, and put them all in under topics. And then I think a couple of department chairs did not understand, or assistant chairs didn't understand that, you know, when the sheet goes in out to the right, there has to be a count this
You have to kind of tell, this is a U.S. history course.
Right, this is US, this is,
whatever
the
those
students have to
distribution.
take a certain number of US, European, and non-Western classes. But they can take them kind of at the 200, 300, and 400 levels, so.
As long as
I
those
think we might
courses
be
as long as
about-
those courses are tagged correctly at a time, students should have.
Right,
no problem.
and I think when we first switched to this new system, people didn't quite understand that. And.
So we'd love this, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to step
That's
out
okay.
in just a few minutes to be back for a 1 o'clock meeting. You don't plan travel time when you have to walk across campus for things. But I really hope this is something that if you haven't played with, you get a chance to play with it, try to build some schedule scenarios. If you need help with it, come and see us in the registrar's office. Watch the little video if you have questions. Tell your friends about it, right? Because I think this is something that we're seeing more and more students take advantage of. As of this morning, I think we're about 4,500 of our students have already logged in here at some point
Oh, wow,
in the
that's
last
great.
month or two. So there's a lot of student adoption. But I appreciate
That's
some.
almost, that's like, almost 40%, yeah?
Yeah, we kind of put it out softly, gave students the option of the new one or the old one, kind of see what they prefer. We're getting good feedback. So we want your feedback. Tell me how it's working. Feel free to reach out after you registered for the semester. Let me know. Come down and see us if you need help. Tell your friends about it. Plan ahead. Register early.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Very
so much.
informative.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
love
is great,
that.
this is
Thank
great,
you.
thank you.
I always appreciate the opportunity to come. And maybe
Well,
we'll
you
find
know,
some-
come back and visit
We'll
whenever.
find something fun to talk about next semester, maybe, right?
Yeah. No, really, but having to have all the different windows open? Do you control degree evaluations off of off of Banner?
But in terms of how it's linked,
Yeah,
no. That's not how. One thing I will share is
because if
that,
you go in and look up a student's record,
yeah,
and then you click on degree evaluation, it takes you to the,
you have to start at the top.
you have to start over again.
But if you're a student, one nice thing that we have done is if you're a student looking at your degree evaluation, we put a link to the schedule planner right in the top here.
Oh, nice.
So if you, as a student, if you've met with your advisor, you reviewed your degree evaluation, you've made your course list, you can now just one click into the schedule planner from right there. So
Okay, that's good.
it's a little shortcut. But yeah, the feedback that you all have given us is consistent with everybody else. It's hard to find stuff, so we've really been, I'm going to sign out, I got your degree evaluation, I'm logged into the computer, sorry. The feedback we've gotten from a lot of students is that, it is hard to find stuff. So where we can try to integrate that and means fewer clicks to find things, hopefully it's easier for all of you to use. Okay, I'm going to sign out here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, that was
Thank you very
great.
much. Thank you. Should I stop this
Yeah, if you go to-
recording? Let's see.
Oh, hi, Dr. Coronado.
Hello, everyone. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye.